Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money. Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello, viewers, and welcome to your weekly program, Money Radio, and it's reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Udebo, and with me in the house, as usual, is our in-house guest. He is the editor of National Economy, Kingsley Annie. It was a pleasure to host your program. This segment of Money Radio, we will be reviewing and discussing some major front headline stories on Nigeria's business paper, National Economy. National Economy is leading with the story this week on 15 years after 100 billion naira intervention, the textile industry is still dormant. Now we see the paper for our viewers to see. 15 after 15 years after 100 billion naira intervention, the Nigerian textile industry is still dormant. That is the leading story on National Economy. And on the rider we have unrestrained smuggling, high taxation, counterfeiting, others hinder sector growth. Unrestrained smuggling, high taxation, counterfeiting, others hinder sector growth. Implementation of Executive Order 003 of 2017 will facilitate rapid recovery of nation's textile industry, according to experts. That's the leading story on Nigeria's business newspaper, National Economy. Now, back to Kingsley Ali. Kingsley, there has been so many, would I call it a policy brickbat on this reviving Nigeria's textile industry, and 15 years after, just like the leading story on National Economy says, captures it, is still not there. What is happening?
Yeah, a lot. It's not as if government has not been making effort.
Yes.
I mean, when you pump 100 billion into a particular sector in the hope that it will turn things around and it's not yielding, there must be other factors that people may not be seeing.
Yes.
If you realize, well, first of all, the cotton, textile and garment intervention fund is being managed by Bank of Industry. So when you talk of in terms of transparency, talk in terms of prudence, you are sure you're guaranteed that But the problem here lies with one the issue of counterfeiting, the issue of this unrestrained smuggling.
Mm.
Also, there's also the issue of in 2017, government came up with this executive order 003, that mandates ministries, departments, and agencies, to patronize
Okay.
these
Yes. Mm.
local textile manufacturers. Up till now, it has not been fully implemented. So much as if you're a garment producer or you're in the textiles and you took money or took part of this loan,
Mm.
the problem is that it's not even getting the loan. The problem is for you to turn in any profit because you are contending with these issues of, this issue of what counterfeiting, like we have mentioned. Counterfeiting, basically from other countries, they just copy made in Nigeria fabrics, made in Nigeria textiles. They label it made in Nigeria. Meanwhile, they are substandard.
Okay, but are there not checks and balances put in place to ensure that this does not happen? And secondly, also, I'm also looking at because we have some products that the federal government waded in. We talk about cement.
Yeah.
Cement is on local production now
Yes.
because they
Yes.
blocked imports
Mhm.
of cement
Mhm.
and plus other products like that
Mhm.
just to ensure that Nigeria's products
Yes.
get buy-in. Why are they not doing the same? Because I was made to understand that actually foreign textiles are even more cheaper. So it's not there is no competition. The local textile industry don't
Yes.
actually now stand a chance, kind of.
Yes.
Is it
To
true?
compare. Yeah. To some extent, like it started with this counterfeiting.
Mm,
You see, when somebody wants to invade you,
mm,
they look at how they can paint you black. So by the time they started counterfeiting original made in Nigeria fabrics,
mm,
textile products with the fake ones. So for instance, now you may go to the market and you buy so fabric or textile aid. By the time you maybe after 2 months or so, you discover
mm,
that it's not quality, it's not you start feeling that made in Nigeria fabrics are not good. That was where it first started. Then, of course,
mm.
there's the Chinese because it's been a subtle campaign they have been doing for quite some time. So what they do now, they smuggle in their own products. And funny enough, the agencies that are supposed to make sure these things don't
Don't
happen,
get
they are somehow compromised.
find their way into the market.
Yeah, so the borders are porous.
Because at the end of the day, when you go to the market now, you see so many other products that are not Nigerian and they are competing so well. And you see a
Yes.
situation whereby many Nigerians or yes, many Nigerians are patronizing actually these local fabrics
Yes.
and Nigerian fabric is not there.
Yeah, they are patronizing them because they have been made to believe that their own is not original. That's the essence of that counterfeiting. Then when you also look at the fact that Chinese and Asian fabrics are all over the market, they have flooded the market. So and people love it when they are exposed to this kind of situation where they can go here, pick something, go there, pick another thing. At the expense of what that is why most of the campaign government has been doing,
Mm.
especially during these last few months, has been on made in Nigeria.
And also,
Made in
there's
Nigeria.
this issue that because of the factors that are play, at the end of the day, Nigerian textile industry, they actually come up with products or materials or textiles, whichever way you want to call them, that are actually higher than even those foreign, the ones that they are competing with. You understand? I'm talking about inadequate power supply.
Yeah.
Talk about other
Taxation, high
taxation,
taxation,
exactly.
yes.
So at the end of the day, their measure
Exchange rate.
is exorbitantly high,
Yeah.
higher than the normal.
Yeah, it's part of
fabrics that you
that
get.
is part of the challenge they're actually forcing. We talk of this high exchange rate, taxation, high taxation, and
inadequate power
inadequate power
supply.
supply.
And
Then
so
of
they
course
now
I've
use
mentioned
diesel.
they use diesel, of course, you know how much that one costs, like 800 naira per liter.
Mm,
Then of course we've mentioned smuggling, we've mentioned counterfeiting,
mm,
all on one sector. So because of it, these are the challenges. They can't even operate under this kind of circumstance they found themselves. Let's look at it from in 1975.
mm,
The number of textile mills in the country were around 175.
Then it was thriving.
It was thriving.
So how was the
And
policy like? Did we have a situation whereby our borders were open, foreign textiles were coming into the country?
No, we didn't have such.
Okay, there
We
was
didn't
a
have such.
policy. There was
The
ban
policy
on,
was in place.
importation.
The policy was in place. and there was that strict enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you notice as the time went by, from 175 and employing about 134,000 workers at the time, the thing now started dropping. It got to a point where it started employing about 24,000. Right now, they're employing less than, in fact, we don't have even up to 20 textile mills in the country anymore. So you can imagine the drop from 175 to less than 20 now. Then look at the employment. It has also employment, level of employment from the 134,000 they were doing now to less than 20,000.
At the time, we also had the commitment of the Kaduna State government.
Yes.
Governor,
Yeah.
Malam Nasir
Yes.
that he was going to revive the textile industry in the state. So, what has come up with?
It's not. You see, this thing is supposed to be a holistic something.
Yes.
It's not just what one section or one fragment working. The issue is that it has to be something that cuts across. But the most important thing, like they have mentioned, is the stakeholders, experts in the sector. They said, see, there was this executive order, 003 2017. Let government ensure full implementation. It just simply means that agencies of government, departments, agencies, all the parastatals, if you are going to use anything, it must be made in Nigeria. Simple. They are already implementing it in the automobile sector. Like in Anambra now, all the vehicles they are using, the automobile is innocent. And some states have already. So this was what government meant by that executive order. Because the moment it is implemented, what it means that whatever you produce, you are sure of the market, it will sell. But they're almost lagging. They are not.
Because a situation whereby we're seeing a situation whereby Nigeria is not also reaping from the advantage, the benefits that is accruable from that sector.
Yes.
Now, what do I mean by that? You see that most designers, we call it fashion designers, they come up with so many brilliant styles from these Ankara fabrics, which Nigerians is supposed to, is supposed to be benefiting from. And presently, you see crop of young ladies, actors, actresses,
Yes.
they are using Ankara fabrics.
Yeah, they are.
So it's also supposed to be an opportunity for the Nigerian textile industry to make a huge heave.
Yeah, but until government actually fix some of.
So you see that this money, this patronage of these fabrics, which are mainly foreign, are not going to all these foreign industries.
Yeah, that is what it means. So government has to necessarily address these issues. When you know there are challenges, you don't inflict more pain, because right now the industry is dormant.
But how come? Because there has been, we just talked about 15 years after. What happened to the 100 billion intervention fund that you led with?
No, it is still there. It's
Is
not
it
as
that
if,
no industry is accessing it?
no, they are assessing it. The problem is that, you see, when you get a loan from a bank, there are other things that must be in play here for you to be able to turn in profits. You must have steady power supply. You must make sure there's market for your product. You must make sure nobody is counterfeiting. Look at what is happening in the entertainment industry. Where we talk of piracy. You finish producing a movie, some people will go and pirate your copies. And so people see a star rolling, but they don't know the pocket is dry because somebody somewhere is busy pirating your work. It is the same thing that's actually going on in this sector. And that's why a lot of the blames have been apportioned on the Nigerian Customs Service. Because, first of all, stop smuggling. We are talking about after African Continental Free Trade Agreement coming up on board. Nigeria is a signatory to that, and very soon things will start rolling. But you see, if your products are counterfeited like this, how do you make a headway in the market? How do you make a headway? So they are saying that, see, customs, one way or the other, they have to sit up. Then this issue of China and the Asian countries that are now busy flooding our markets with all these fabrics you are mentioning, they have to find a way of addressing it. But I think because of compromises here and there, it has not really been that easy for them. But government has to be serious about that.
I remember vividly, Kingsley, that there was really an embargo on the importation of all these products, and even clothes, because there was a time that those who sell fairly used clothes said, no, they cannot get these clothes inside the country again. You understand? Because they had to, just like what you said, bribe their way in. So what is really happening? There are no stricter regulations.
No, there are no. Of course, that was then. Now you and I know that all these fairly used clothes are all over the whole place. Not to even talk of the fabrics and all the rest of them. They are all over the whole place. If the borders can be shut and all these items are not counterfeited, these guys will wake up. The industry will start breeding. At the moment now, it is not breeding. It's already being choked by all those high taxation we've mentioned. And then you look at it, this is it's like once something affects one and it affects the other. People also laid off. People who used to make a lucrative business out of this can no longer continue. What's the point securing a single digit threat when you know you can't pay back? But meanwhile, the fund is there.
That's another matter. But we'll be discussing more on that cover story when we come back from our break. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. The program is Money Radio, where we review and discuss front page news stories of national economy. My name is Winifred Bebo, and with me in the studio is an in-house analyst, editor, lead national economy. Kingsley Ali, thank you so much once again. Yes, we're shedding light on the fate of Nigeria's textile industry, but now it's comatose. What is the way forward?
The way forward is for one, government should look into the issue of taxation, high taxation. As for the interest rate, we know it's something that cuts across. But if they can revisit this issue of high taxation, the industry is already slugging. You don't need to even choke it more. Look at the high taxation, and then maybe look at the borders, ensure more stricter enforcement of all these border controls. And then you also look at the issue of counterfeiting. All the regulatory agencies that are supposed to be involved should really wake up, if they can put all this, and then of course the issue of power supply. That is,
and that is also the issue of power supply is actually a tawdry for now. So in the interim, in case there's none for now, so how do they make up? Because there was just as we were saying behind the scene before we came live on air, who I told that I will make to understand that because of the prevailing factors we talk about, that at the end of the day, Nigeria's tech sites are actually higher than those that you normally have bought from outside the country. So, given that, do you think that at the end of the day, Nigerians are still going to favor these foreign fabrics?
They will. Yeah, it has almost become a norm for them. I told you how they started. They started by counterfeiting our products. The idea is to paint it black, make you believe it's not good enough. They know what they were doing. They succeeded in that. So you notice that when people even want to buy their shoes, buy their wares, once it is made in Italy, made in here, you feel you have a quality. But meanwhile, when you go to Aba, you can get a better quality. But they've made you to believe that what you are producing is very, very inferior. It's part of the campaign. Yes. So what government has to simply do, Executive Order 003/2017, let government ensure full implementation of that order. It's a starting point. These people are not really saying you must give us light now.
Yes.
They're already living with the situation. They are not really it's not even much of their challenge. All of them have found a way of navigating the whole thing. But what they are saying is that when we produce, let us get the market. and it has to be at a very competitive rate.
Mm.
Because at this moment now, they are producing, they don't have the market. So, and even when they want to sell, the prices are not, their way
favorable.
is not favorable. Nobody will come and patronize them because one is too high.
It's too much.
They build in the cost of all those taxation, build the cost of a lot of
Power.
things. Power. At the end of the day, it's gone up. So government has done enough by providing the loan, the intervention fund. But then these ones must be seriously addressed.
So presently, as you were saying initially, how many industries do we have now? Textile
It's
industry.
less than 20.
It's less than 20.
Yeah,
And they're all
that's
based in Kaduna.
all of them. Some of them from Kaduna, of course, some Kano. These are the major hubs where you talk of textiles. Where you go. But overall, it's not more than, it's not even up to 20 anymore. That's a far cry from what it used to be, 175. So, and that also will give you a picture of the number of people, the workers that are employed in the sector now.
Yes.
But
And we also had a union from the Nigerian textile.
yeah, the problem
There was
that
a union.
I want to believe that even the union people are tired. They are tired of protesting. They are tired of demonstrating. I don't understand why it is difficult for government, for instance. Unions have complained about the transition we've been mentioning here.
Yeah.
You can't be taxing us heavily when we could hardly breathe. They have complained. They are tired. And sometimes government has a way of infiltrating those people. When you feel the protest is getting too much, you just look at how you can break through the ranks, get one or two people you can get to use to quench the whole thing. So even the unions are tired. But you see, I think we've come to a point where government has to realize that it's not going to be politics as usual. You can't even continue like this. If you want this country to be self-sufficient in this area, it has to really wake up, create the conducive environment. Let it be conducive enough for these guys to operate. They are good, they are skilled, they are well trained, But the problem when you have these prevailing situations like this, they can't. There's little they can do. So that is, to me, what government should be looking at. Implement that executive order 003 of 2017. If they can do it, the industry will pick. Other things being equal, the light situation, they know how they cope. When you have light, okay, when you don't have light, you switch over to maybe your drink or whatever. They can, those ones, they know how they can cope. But other than that, I don't know, government should take this issue serious.
Thank you so much for that. That is the leading story on national economy, talking about the dormancy of Nigeria's textile industry, especially 15 years after 100 billion naira intervention has been pumped into it. Now, on that same national economy, we still have other stories underneath the leading story. We have federal government's multi-billion naira grave infrastructure, how it can work as analysts offer solution. Still on national economy, you have new bank news beyond the aesthetics. The story is on page 5 of national economy. And on the strip, we have rewarding employees with year-end bonus, page 7 of the national economy. And inside the national economy paper, we have other fabulous stories in the pages. For more on the stories, you can get a copy or log on to the website to read more. Now, we do want to share your thoughts on rewarding employees with year-end bonus.
Yeah.
With this high inflation rate, 26,
Yeah.
something, do companies still reward their employees with
They
year-end
must
bonus?
find a way because it's about motivating them. It's about motivating your good hands. It's about motivating them. You don't necessarily return a staff because there are no jobs out there. Our staff don't need to work for you because they don't have any other option. They need to work in your company because you are taking care of them. It is very, very, very important. They have welfare. Now, end of year bonus is a way of saying thank you.
However, just like what you said, bonus, end of year bonus. Is it not? Don't you think that is for most companies have made profits during the year that actually have bonus? So because of this, you just pointed out some factors that is over concerning Nigerian textile industry.
Yeah.
So
But there must be hardworking staff that you need to recognize.
No,
It's
what I'm
not-
saying that even with this prevailing situation,
Yes.
economic situation, you still think that you have high hopes that most companies have actually made gains.
Yeah, they're declaring. Look at the profit after tax. They keep declaring. They are making profit. They are making a kill. But what we're saying is that, you see, within that organization, there are individuals that have really worked hard. All you need to do is just to reward them, recognize them. That little effort, just a way of motivating your staff, and also another way of returning them. Because when you have good hands, simple logic demands that you find a way of keeping them. If you are not keeping them, when they have better options, they will leave you. So it is not necessarily, it's not as if it should be incumbent on them, but then it's something they know that you have to do this. It's a way of encouraging people working to you. So end of year bonus, it can even be staff of the year award, all those kind of stuff.
Staff of the year, that is
Something
just
like
one person.
for one person, maybe just look at the departments. This person did well, that person did well, this person did well. Get them all together. This is the money that is attached to it, and all that. You have to. They just have to get innovative with this thing. But the important thing is that recognizing your hardworking staff. All of them. The bonus can cut across many things. There are many 1001 ways you can use to motivate them. If you even have the means, why not? Those of them that are not mobile, you can give them official cards. It's permitted. So at least mobility is enhanced. They can move from one place to another in service to the company. But when they are working and they feel they are not recognized, one way or the other, to also tell on their performance.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughts on today's morning radio. It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing more. Same time, we will speak on the program. Yes, this is what we'll call it today on today's morning radio. For more on the stories on the national economy, log on to the website to read more and see more inside the news. My name is Winnie Fedigogo, and I look forward to seeing you at the same time, same station next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.